Alcock.
Good morning.
Oh, a little curtsy. Wow, very lovely. Good morning to all of you at home. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My goodness, what a show we have for you today.
Yes.
We were just saying, it feels like there's a lot on the show today.
Yes, there is.
I'm going to say again, we're moving. And we need to get...
Did you know?
Well, this is it. I mean, the hint might have been in the amount of sale-y type things.
Yeah.
Just last time we moved warehouse, it nearly killed us. I'm not going to... I mean, that's no exaggeration.
No, it did. It took us a long time and you worked really hard. And
It
last
was
time when we
epic.
moved back, you had to do it all on your own.
It was insane.
Yeah.
So we're not doing that this time. This time we're just going to sell everything to you at a discount. You can have your pick of everything that we have. There'll be some core things that we take with us, and then we start again, and we build up again.
Yeah.
And that's where it is. Having said that, Jane, might have had a little moment of weakness.
Yes.
I've got a whole load of velvet. It didn't mean to, but it happened.
Just fell into your basket.
Well, what happened was I'd put in an order. You know when we did the book sleeve?
Yes.
I'd put in an order for velvets that went beautifully with those fabrics.
Yes.
And they were out of stock. So we lined them with plain.
Yes.
Because if we'd have had velvets, then it would have been beautiful for tablet cases and everything else.
Yes.
So I cancelled the order because they couldn't. I'm like, no, you're tight. You've missed your slot. That's it. You've missed. You've had your chance. You weren't here.
Yes.
It's gone. But they sent it anyway.
That was nice of them.
After I just put in this order,
Yeah.
but luckily, it goes so beautifully with the new William Morris that we'll have on next week.
It's
This is
gorgeous.
velvet, and if you have had our velvets before, you know how stunning these velvets are. The new place that we're moving to is old. It's really old.
Yes.
And there's kind of tapestry curtains behind the doors to stop the drafts type old.
Yeah.
And I keep looking at, it's that sort, it just...
Yeah, it lends itself nicely.
Yeah. So, you know when I say I buy things and I don't mind if they don't sell because I'm happy to keep them?
Yeah.
I sort of mind now because of the space situation, but equally if this... We'll just
Lots
make
of
curtains out of it.
Yeah,
It's
curtains
fine.
and cushions,
So that will be
fabulous.
next week. What are we doing today, Jane? Let's have a look at what we're doing today.
We're doing a technique called crumb quilting. Some of you of a vintage may know it as crazy quilting. I know it as crazy quilting. It's now called crumb quilting. It's just a great way to use up your scraps.
Okay, because the minute, Jane, you pick up any fabric to make anything, you have scraps,
Yes.
and that's it. That is.
Yeah, that's what
yeah.
happens. Offcuts, little pieces that you think, I can't do anything with this.
But you can.
But you
Oh
can.
look, you've got a
there's all
mixture of textures and
yeah.
all sorts.
There's brushed velvet in here, brushed cotton rather, not velvet. But you could put velvet in.
Beautiful.
There happened to be a nice little piece of
Bubble fleece.
bubble fleece, so I used that for the back. And then there was a
Gorgeous.
long width of fabric offcut, obviously the end of the bolt, and it just managed to do the binding. Our scrap bags are very generous with the
Yeah.
fabric because
Yeah.
it's end of bolt, isn't it?
Yeah.
And pieces that are less than a long quarter generally.
Yeah.
So quite often you'll get a good chunk of fabric in there. There's a bit of cave brush cotton.
A bit of sassamon in
Yeah.
there. Oh, I loved that one.
Some
Oh, I
Liberty.
love how you've got. Oh yeah. Oh,
Liberty.
and you fussy cut the
Well, I didn't
peacocks.
really because it was a strip and I just got 2 pieces out of it. So it wasn't necessarily fussy cut.
What's that one?
There's a tiny little piece. Tiny piece of Tilda.
Bit of Tilda there. What's that one?
That is a little bit of mine and it was an offcut from a panel.
Oh, nice.
I'd got some little
More
tiny
Tilda.
pieces in mine.
I love a little bit of liberty in there.
Which I put in because, as I say, there was a lot
Why
of
not?
big pieces in my scrap bag that I took from here.
Beautiful. Right, so Jane, I don't know if I told you this. What we've done, our normal scrap bags are 500 gram scrap bags.
Yes.
Today, come with the instructions for crumb quilting.
Oh, fabulous. That's a nice idea.
So we've got them in.
Yeah.
Last time we did scrappy stuff, was the bunnies.
Yes.
And they
Placemats.
came, we did the scrappy placemats with scrap bags. So if you're buying our scrap bags again today, go for it. But we have also got all kinds of bundles at insane discounts for you today. Let's start with, because you mentioned the fleece on the back there.
Yeah.
Fleece backings on quilts, I love personally.
They're very nice. You have to be a bit careful because it's a different type of fabric, so it's got a little bit of stretch to it. Walking foot, spray adhesive, or pin lots depending on the size of it. But it's good. It's nice, and I don't put wad in between mine, so it's just the front and the back, because you don't really need it.
I will often do like a bag through technique.
Yes.
With a fleecy backing, and then
Yeah.
and I then won't do too much quilting at all
Well,
on
you
the
don't
front.
need to,
Just
as
a
long as
little
you've got
bit
the layers together.
here and there.
Yeah.
So let's have a look. The fleeces. This is the end of our fleeces. That's it. We've got no more. The ducklings have lucked out a little bit.
They've had some nice little offcuts, haven't they, that have kept them cosy.
So Quacky Chan and Duck Norris, the ducklings, because they don't have a mummy duck, Jane.
No, they don't have a mummy duck. They've got you.
So what they've got is obviously me, but they also have fleece which I bunch up and they nest into.
Yes, because they can snuggle up to
And they bed down together and they nest into, and then they have a wet half of their crate, and then they have a dry snuggly half of their crate, and they're very happy like that. And when they come out of ducky bath time, because they had ducky bath time this morning,
Lovely.
and then they bed down and they preen themselves and then they go back to sleep. So they've been very lucky. We've used these for the backs of quilts. We did a show where we just put binding round
Yes.
because they are so beautiful.
There's no reason not to.
In fact, we did it when Minnie was a puppy,
Yes, we did.
and she's still got her personalised mini quilts
Yes.
on her bed at the moment, actually, all washed and lovely. So the flower one, in fact, Emily's got a flower one. You did an Emily flower one. These are cut to 1.5 meters mainly,
Yeah, so they're nice and square then, aren't they?
because they're about 1.5 meters tall. So to then have them 1.5 meters, so that then you can make you can just edge them, can't you?
Yeah.
And
Just
it's done.
hem them. You could even just
Blanket stitch.
I was just going to say I want to say serging, and that's American.
Overlock.
Overlock them.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of it being fluffy, you wouldn't see the stitching really.
No.
It
Perfect.
just blend in.
Yes.
So really easy.
These have got a third off, I think,
Wow.
or 30% or a third. I can't remember what we agreed on in the end, me and Gemma. But they've got a big chunk off. Basically, you pay for a metre, and you get 1.5 meters.
And lots of fluff.
And lots of fluff. Yeah. So we've got that one. I think this is already gone, because we only had two of. Did we only have two?
I can't remember if there was 2 or 3. Yeah.
That's the ivory. If there's any left loaded, then you know that. Now this is the mint. I've got a 1.50 meter piece and a 1.40 meter piece, because that was the end. It was so close, so close.
So close and
It's
yet
a
so
little
far.
bit over 1.40 meter. It's more 1.45 meter, but I just called it 1.40 meter because, you know, let's not split hairs. So we've got this one as well, which is the minty one. And that's
So if you've got a baby shower to go to, these are ideal presents. Just a nice bit of binding on the edge. If you bought the Liberty Extra Wide for the binding, Liberty edging,
and then what you could do, because we've got like greys and things, greys in the Liberty, haven't we,
Yeah.
which go beautifully. And then you can personalise. You can put
initials.
initials and stuff.
Yeah.
Which is beautiful, really, really beautiful. I've done that a lot, actually. It does work. Now, those that were on. Ooh, can we do a quick show and tell?
Yes.
Yesterday, you had a pre-record because we were doing our Natasha McCarthy Designs workshop. Do you see what we made? I'll hang it up here, realising that I've got a rail. This is what we made. So this is now loaded. So for those of you that were on the Zoom call yesterday, Josh was busy loading this last night, so that you can. For those of you that got part way through and then didn't quite get your binding done in time, this demo is up and done. I've got pockets. We were just saying that this would be really nice in a workroom, on the back of the door. dog snacks, nail clippers, any kind
Yeah,
of medication or anything that they
anything
need.
really that you need to be able to little things that you need to be able to see.
Yeah. Or the other thing I thought was all the different charging cables for all your different devices. They've all got different ends, haven't they? And then you'd be able to see them. But this was meant to be for Josh. I've done it in a wax on the back.
Lovely.
So he can put all his fishing stuff in because it's got fish on it. But he doesn't know yet.
He does now.
Only if he's watching. He's meant to be working. He's in that camp.
Yeah.
Meant to be working, might be watching. Now, so for those of you that were on the call, you know I promised you Tilda scrap bags. Now we've got the 175 Tilda scrap bags.
Yes.
But also, if you want longer pieces for this, we've got a bundle of fat eighths.
Yes. Long eighths.
Long eighths.
Long eighths. So they're 5 inches. They're
Show us, Jane. Show
width
us.
of fabric. There's 8 fabrics in here. Now,
So that's a
2 meters, isn't it? Is it?
no meter
Metre.
because it's we've
it's
got
an
8
eighth.
fat eighths.
Yes. So you've got a lovely selection.
They all the same.
Mostly from, yes, they are. Mostly from the Wallflower collection, but there's a bit of Jubilee in there and a bit of a Bloom. I was thinking about this. You could cut those into squares and then you've got a charm quilt. Because you get 8 5-inch squares from a width of fabric strip.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So that would give you 64 squares.
Oh, wow.
So that's a charm quilt. If you don't want to use it for binding, you could just sew the strips together.
Gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous.
There's so many things that you could do with this fabric.
These are on a crazy, crazy, crazy price. Just so that you know. Long eighths, not fat eighths, says Jenna to me. I know. Jane has already corrected me. I stand corrected. I didn't cut them, you see, so...
No, Sally and I
Yeah.
did them yesterday. Well,
Yeah.
mostly Sally, actually.
Yeah.
But
She's got over her fear of cutting, hasn't she?
yeah, she has.
It happens quite quickly, and then people get excited. And
And
then...
I was just like, we're going to do fat eighths, and she just looked, long eighths, and she just looked at me. I said, it's easy, it's just less than a long quarter, which you'd already done.
So then, long eighths again. Correct?
In beautiful Liberty.
In Liberty. This is the last of these Liberties. So if you wanted, these are the ones with the pin cushions and the knick-knackery, haberdashery. Knick-knackery haberdashery. And all, yeah. They
just really pretty, and they all go. And if you like English paper piecing, that's a nice selection of
Perfect.
fabrics to do your hexes or whatever shape you want to do.
5-inch strip is a
Again,
very usable piece.
cut them into 5-inch squares. You've got a lovely charm quilt.
You could add in some ivory, couldn't you?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
lovely.
Make binding strips, bag handles, needle cases, all sorts of things.
It's nice actually because the gold in here is also in here and it's also in here, that mustardy
yes,
colour.
It all mixes in.
And then the pink is over here, but then you've got the peachy one in here, which is in here, and it just
blends beautifully.
Yeah.
The sweet peas, that pink's in there and in here. And this lovely dusky pink is also in these ones as well.
discreetly.
Yeah.
So again, these are on an insane. In fact, I think Gemma might have just told me how insane it was. Oof.
Limited.
Oh no, she's just written few, but she got it right.
Limited stock really. There's 8 of the Tilda ones and 7 of the Liberty. So not a vast quantity.
Now,
You might want one of each. I think I would.
have you not already snapped up one, Jane?
I might have had a few offcuts.
So, $14.99 they are, Jane,
Wow,
for a metre of fabric,
that's brilliant.
all cut
Well,
for you.
Not just any old fabric. I mean,
I know,
sort of
I know,
Tilda or
right?
Liberty.
Oh, before I forget, we have got, so last week the initial kit sold out. We managed to do a second style of kit.
Yes, it's
I
just
think it had
a midnight plain instead of the cottage cloth.
We've got 2, and which went on to be incredibly popular.
Yes.
We've got 2 kits left, then it's done. We
Yeah.
can't do any more.
Nope.
That's it. So if you'd like this, and so many of you did,
Yes, it was popular. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's stunning, Jane. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? Now, also fabrics that I thought would work brilliantly in the crumb quilt were these Caroline Gavin. These are the last of the Caroline Gavin. Also, by the way, check out the bolt ends.
Yes.
Because we've got Liberty, Tilda and Caroline Gavin bolt ends from where we've finished cutting these. So if you like some of these fabrics and you want a little bit more, your only way now is in bolt ends.
Yeah, quilt backs, bag linings,
Yeah.
cushion covers.
Yep. Or if you just need that little bit extra.
Need more.
Long quarters
Yes.
with these. So sorry, it's just
It's all right. And again, you could cut those into 10-inch squares and do a layer cake styly.
Oh, they're just beautiful.
There's 7 fabrics in this bundle.
All from the same collection. There was what I really liked about this was the range of style.
Yes, it's lovely because you've got the pretty butterflies right
'Cause you've
through to
got-
the quirky sort of like.
But that
Like,
yellow is in here
Yeah,
with the butterflies. And it's also, you've got these bold, almost primary colours through here as well. But that blue is in there. It just, lovely.
beautiful.
Last chance to get that.
Beautiful, beautiful. Again, I think there's only 8 bundles with this. Because we went with the smallest amount of fabric that we had to make the bundles, and then the
Yes.
rest went into bolt ends. That's an example of the scrap bag.
Tilda scrap bags. They're 175 gram scrap bags, and this is the sort of thing that you will get in there. They're sizable chunks, but if you want guaranteed sizes, go with this.
Yeah.
Or
'cause
maybe get one of each.
these, you've got little pieces like this, which you can use for
Get
this
'em
sort
working
of
there.
project,
Yeah.
or your English paper piecing, and then you've got good size pieces like this. So there's opportunities for fussy cutting and stuff there. Sorry, I
Perfect.
lifted that up and
Yeah.
not
I
face
haven't
forward.
changed, no.
Yeah,
It's fine.
it's okay.
That was Sunday brunch, wasn't it? It was a
Yeah.
lovely collection. So there's bits.
This is
There's
Tilda
and that's
Solid.
a Tilda Solid, yeah.
All beautiful, various collections, lots of nice variety of colours and size pieces.
But if you want guaranteed sizes, go with that one. Or like I say, grab yourself both. But I did promise you Tilda scrap bags, and there they are. Again, I think we've got 9 of those, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's all there was left,
Yeah.
wasn't there? Now
We don't get many Tilda scraps.
we do not. We really do not. Perfect pairings, which we'd normally do on a Wednesday for a Thursday, but there are only 2 of them this week. This is your Tilda tea towel, Kentucky stripes. Can't say that fast, can you? With the absolute perfect pairing there of your Macawa solid.
Just looked at the colour and it just blended beautifully.
These are such a lovely quality as well, aren't they?
Well, yeah.
Really beautiful.
Tilda fabric's gorgeous.
Really,
And
really
Macawa
beautiful.
solids are just a little bit more.
And then, hang on a minute.
Liberty and Tilda.
Come on. Our
Well,
cup runneth over.
There's
That
that
has
Emily
been-
Bell mauve just went so beautifully with the aubergine because it's that sort of
It's-
grey muty lilac colour.
It's been such a difficult one to match with our normal plains.
Yes.
I hadn't even considered it with the Tilda, but you're right, it is absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect.
You love
Now-
that vintagey feel. It's gorgeous.
Then there it is. If you would like the rest of the Tilda Solid aubergine, there's nothing quite like a Tilda Solid, is there? The
no,
colour,
because
tone of it.
it's beautiful and it's a really nice weight of cotton.
Yeah.
It's
It's-
lovely.
1.93. Very specific there, Jane.
Yes.
193, just a smidge under 2 metres of the aubergine left. These go up at a little discount for you, but they are the end of stock. Bolt end Caroline Gavin Sweet Something Dotty Lilac. There's 73 centimetres there. These are your Flower Beauties Bright, 1 metre 27 there. The butterflies are gorgeous, 66 centimetres there. Dotty Lapis, you have got 1 metre 38 there. Bolt ends, here we go. Caroline Gavin, 2 metre 15, that's going to back a quilt.
It is.
Yeah, perfect. And 2 metre 13, God, it's 2 centimetres less here in the yellow. Crikey.
Now, I left that as a big chunky piece because
This one,
I thought 3 metres makes a nice size quilt backing, but also that's dress, isn't it?
yeah.
Or
It is.
curtains for a bedroom.
If Karen wasn't in Morrison's, she'd be all over that.
She would.
She would. 3 metre 29 there. Gorgeous. I think this one might have sold. Some of these went up yesterday and have already gone because the Liberty flew. So I don't know. These might have sold, but I'll show you anyway. Liberty Sweet Pea, the Liberty Lazenby Bloom. We've got the Floral Pink. We've got the Newland Springs. We've got the Snowdrop. We've got the Quilt Nouveau, and a very useful size piece actually. The Posy Breeze, and then Tilda Wise. We've got the Wallflower Bianca Red. We've got the Lauren Burgundy. We've got the Wallflower. I've only got 56 centimetres of that. The Bellflower Teal. The Wallflower 72 centimetres, and then Tilda Fabric.
This is the doll fabric. So
there's only 92 centimetres, so we could have only have done one kit anyway.
Yeah.
Tilda doll fabric is very different to the other fabric. It's just got a texture that is perfect for doll making. If you are a Tilda fan, then you might have. I came to her through her dolls. Like I saw her dolls first. And I thought they're a bit quirky and unusual, but actually, I've taken all the samples off. Her Tilda dolls are gorgeous.
Yeah, there's not even.
And the animals and stuff are really, really
a
lovely.
Monkey hanging around.
No, I know.
Hanging around.
But you can get her patterns for free on tildasworld.com.
Yes.
So if you want to make the bear looks lovely out of this.
Yes.
So if you want to make the bear, and then maybe you get the long eighths to do the clothes.
Yes, absolutely.
Perfect.
Yeah. Really
absolutely
nice.
perfect. In fact, she normally uses like the tea towel fabrics and the star fabrics and stuff like that for the outfits.
Yeah.
And then we've got here the Bellflower and Pine. This is a useful one because you've got the dark green, you've got the light green, you've got a little bit of sort of lemony yellow in there.
It looks lovely together.
I love this one. I team this with denim.
Yeah, it looks really nice with denim.
My original 30 centimetre tubular bag was done in this with denim. Do you remember?
Yes, I do.
And
Yes.
they all looked stunning.
It just looked lovely.
So that's what we've got for you today. Oh, and I'll go and grab these in a minute once you start demoing. We've also got, on any bundles that have got our A4 pieces of PU, faux leather,
Yeah.
they're on a 3 for 2.
Oh, fabulous.
So all of the little cork makes and things that we do, you can make out of those A4 things.
Yes.
And a lot of them have got fabric that go with them as well.
Yeah.
So
really
they are
nice.
absolutely perfect. And on a 3 for 2 means that you can really fill your boots, your baskets, or anything else that you would like to fill.
Yes.
Quite frankly, go for it.
So what you like.
Ready, steady, go. Jane, I'm going to leave you to show us how to crumb.
To crumb quilt.
Crumb, crumb, crumb.
Yeah. I brought in the little bits that I had left over from my scrap bag. So there's a few pieces in here that are quite tiny, and some of the bigger pieces. You know when you cut off that triangle on your half square triangles sometimes, and there's some triangles left. They come in really handy for this.
Okay, cool.
Because it's nice to start with an irregular size piece. So those are my bits from home, and then I've just picked up the first scrap bag I came to, so I don't even know what's in here. I just picked it up.
So these scrap bags are coming with your pattern?
Yeah. So there's a good size piece of pink there, which I would probably put to one side for binding.
That's a chambray as well.
No, I think it's just our
Oh, is
plains.
it?
Yeah. There's little pieces like the lovely Kaufman. A little bit of black in there. There's some trim. That's nice. But you've got long pieces. You've got pieces that have been used already. There's a bit of sparkle blender in there. There's a bit of green. There's some lovely things in here. A bit of denim. These are great. English paper piecing and this style of quilting. Just fabulous. So, it's very easy to do, but what you do have to... I'm a bit sort of like, I like everything in just so and all organised, and I'm not very good at random. But actually, this style of quilting is good for you if you are like that, because it makes you be less random.
Oh, now, so this is the thing, because Cynthia's just messaged, she said, greetings, your crazy quilt looks fantastic. I appreciate people being able to scramble their fabric pieces and parts, as I'm too controlling.
Yeah. But it's quite addictive. And it's literally, there's no colour cohesion there.
No.
And what you'll find with your own personal scraps is you've got a colour palette anyway. So it's all going to go together because you work within a favourite colours.
Mm-hmm.
So generally speaking, your scraps that you have at home, or even our scraps, you'll find there's a colour palette. What I started off was I sorted through my scraps and I sorted it through to little pieces. And we're talking like pieces like that size, because you can use them that size.
Is that why it's called a crumb?
Yeah, because you can use every piece. Even pieces that are already sewn together, you can cut them up and use them already sewn. And the beauty of this is, as you start to work it through and you trim bits off, you'll have cut-offs and you can use those again. So you'll find it's quite mindful, because you get sort of like sucked into it. But I sorted mine through sort of small, medium, large. Start off with small pieces and then work your way round, basically, adding bits on and making it bigger. And you can make it as big as you like. I made mine, I got to about 7.5 inch square.
Oh,
and then trimmed it to a 7.5 inch square. So those bits I trimmed off, I could then use in the next square, because it all sort of works itself in. And it's really good fun. And of course, if you've got fabrics that are stripy, this piece of fabric here got several different colours in it, and it all just sort of mixed in. So let's start with the Liberty piece. The next piece I need to find needs to fit on one edge of that. And you literally put it right sides together. And sew it together. Now I still worked with a 1/4 inch seam. And then we can put that piece on. And it really is sort of, just get your pile of scraps in front of you and just pick them up. And you just keep working your way around. Now, if you have a scrap that looks like that, and you might think, well, I don't think I can do much with that. What you can do is you can cut it and then just take the curve out of it. So you've got a piece like that. And that piece will go on the edge there. You may find that occasionally you get a little piece. I don't know if I can see. I had a piece on mine where the edge, one of the edges came up a little bit short, so it left a bit on the side. But yeah, there. I don't know if you can see that. Can we go close up, Tash, and I can just show that? Just there. Just not quite came to the edge of the fabric, but once it's quilted over, and you could even just do some embroidery stitches over it. Victorian times, crazy patchwork was a real trend.
Okay.
And they'd used all their offcuts from their clothes making, I suppose, but they added velvets and all sorts of textures in, you know, furnishing fabrics, curtain fabrics, stuff like that. And then they would embroider over the top, so it was another way of using up their threads and things like that, doing embroidery stitches around it.
When we did were they twiddle or fiddle quilts? I always got it wrong.
Fidget quilts,
Fidget
weren't they?
quilts.
Yes.
Again, if you've got lots of textures and things like that going in, then for those that you've got a little bit of trim in there, you might want to put a little bit of that in there.
Yeah, you could sandwich bits of lace in between the seams, all sorts of things like that. So we need a piece now really that can sit over there.
Anne wants to know, Jane,
Yes.
do you open your seams or just push them to one side?
I just push them to one side. Again, that's a personal preference, isn't it? Some people like to have their seams pressed open. And maybe when you've got little tiny pieces, it might lie a bit flatter if you press your seam open. I think it's all down to personal taste, isn't it? Really. So we could add this in. Look, that's red, and that, because so far we've sort of gone with a sort of blue and teal palette. But if I stick this red in, is it going to look awful? I don't think it does.
We will find out, won't we, Jane?
And you might think at the moment, you're like, oh gosh, no. But then if I put this piece in next to it, let's put that piece in there. And if you've got, like here, you can see this seam, look, that doesn't run smoothly, does it? But what we can do is we can just put the next piece of fabric on and just line that seam up so that it makes it straight.
We've got
press that back. Oh,
Jane and
I
Janice
think
with
the
us,
bobbins run out.
and Joy. Well, why don't you change that, Jane? Do you want me
We've
to do
got
it, or
one
are you
that's
all right?
already got something in it.
Oh yeah, switch it out. Go and investigate that situation.
That's it. I'm going to use this one. Let's go and find one with a bit more on.
Because of course threads don't really matter either.
No.
No.
Well, the thing is, when you're joining your pieces, you don't see your thread anyway, do you?
But Fiona's here, Jan's here, Laura's here. She said thank you to Josh for loading the project so quickly. I'm going to tell you that was his absolute pleasure. It wasn't after a long day in London, but he did it anyway. Nikki's here. Morning. Watching from work on subtitles. Oh, that's always a bit hit and miss, isn't it?
That's always good fun, isn't it?
Sophie's here. Anne's here. Brenda's here. Lo's here. She's working. Clary's here. Clary was showing us our some of the cork that she got in her 1 kilo bag of stuff.
Oh, there's
And she
been
had
some
the
gorgeous ones in there.
Beautiful foiled butterflies on her cork. Another lady showed us, and they had dinosaurs on their cork.
Dinosaurs?
Yeah, dinosaurs. And these are all in the 1 kilo cork bundles that we've got. They are.
That doesn't sound happy, does it?
They are open again for buying. And if you've already had, because I know we had someone say, I've bought one, I don't need the same mylar, can you sell it without the template? If you have bought from us before and you would like a different template, then please just put a note on your order.
That's better.
Claire says in the past I've sewn scraps together to make my own meterage. I
Yeah.
made a bag out of it. See, perfect.
Well, I was thinking about this, we've got cork and technical fabrics, scrap bags, haven't we? You could just do those and make a crazy patchwork for the bag front, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Or just a pocket for the front or something like that. So, you know, this is how I say it does get addictive, because you'll find pieces that you think, oh, that can go on there. You'll start saving your scraps. I know people that save their scraps, and they save them. They've got boxes with the colours in, so they'll have a red box and a blue box, and do them by colour, and then you've got, you know, a real selection of scraps. What you can do, if you get to a point like this, you can use your ruler, or you can do it freehand. But I could take that, just trim that bit off there, like that, and then I've got a straight line there, and I can put this piece on. And you can press as you go, or you can just finger press. I did press as I went when I was doing mine at home. I think it just helps everything to lie flatter as you're working. We can take that piece off. We press that back. We can take that piece off, and then we've got another piece for later. But you just keep working your way round.
So this isn't too dissimilar then to the rabbit that we did.
No, absolutely not. It just
Creating your own fabric out
it's
of...
just making your own stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like I said, I've got a piece here. Look, that's an offcut from one of these. Well, that's going to fit on there.
Yeah,
So that's already sort of half of it done for you. So, you know, if you've got pieces that you've got joined together that are offcuts, you know, and we've put strips together and then we cut the strip up into units, and you're left with, I think there was a piece, wasn't there? Yeah, pieces like this. You can use that. There's nothing to stop you cutting it at an angle to fit onto your next piece. You know, we can put that across there. Now the other thing you can do, and you'll just keep going until you've got a piece that's big enough for what you want. I mean, you can do little tiny pieces, make them into pincushions.
Oh, nice.
Little top of a pincushion. If you're making to sell, you'll have lots of offcuts, won't you?
Yes, of course.
So little pincushions, things like that. You know, these are things that you could do to make, you know, little gifts, pincushions, needle cases,
But
stuff
like
like
you
that.
say, it's also rather mindful.
It is, because you're just, and also you get a feeling of not wasting.
Yes.
It's very good for reuse, recycle, repurpose type of ethos. Now, the other thing you can do is you could do it quilt-as-you-go. So if you make your square of wadding the size that
Or the square you want it to be.
you want it to be,
Okay.
for example, let's do this by 10 by 10. You'd get a piece of backing fabric, and again you could scrap that. You could, you know, join several pieces. We've got this piece of pink here. I didn't put the iron on, so I haven't got an iron. But you could.
Do you want me to put the iron on, Jane?
Well, I think we'll get away with it. You can cut your backing just a little bit bigger, or same, you know, similar size, as long as it covers the wadding. And then you can start exactly the same way as we did before. So we can put, let's see if we can find a nice little piece. Yeah, we've got a nice piece of Liberty there. If I trim that edge off there, we'll put that in the middle. And it doesn't have to be straight, you can put it at an angle. And then we find a piece that will sit against it. So we've got a piece there. You might feel that you need to pin it at this point, just to get yourself started. But you've got, and you're quilting as you go then at the same time. So, you know, it's quite, again, it makes you feel like you've done both jobs in one go. And again, we've got instructions, haven't we, about quilt-as-you-go, so about joining the squares together once you've made them.
They are tagged on today's show, Jane, as requested.
And, you know, we've got the binding compendium as well. So there's lots of different ways of finishing it off. So push that back and then put your next piece on. We've got a nice piece of blue there. I mean, you can use quite small pieces, but just remember that it really does need to be more than an inch wide, because anything less than an inch wide, you're not really going to see it.
Yeah, okay.
Because you've got your seam allowance. So it's not really much point in putting a 1/2 inch piece on, because by the time you put 2/4 inch seams on it, it'll all just disappear. when I get to that point, you see that strip was longer, but if I use my my scissors, I can just snip that bit back, and then that piece is on there. We can put this piece on across there. Push that back. What else have we got in here? We've got some nice, well, there's a nice bit of brush cotton there. You can pop that piece on there along there.
So actually very traditional.
Yeah.
As a technique. Then we get all heads up that all the fabrics have to go together and be the same, but it's look out in the garden, they're not all the same.
No, and I think you know, you can get some really nice colour combinations that you probably wouldn't have thought of using before. And then you're like, well, actually, I like this sort of orange with this green. Maybe I can do something more with it. And, you know, if you don't, you could use them for dog beds, couldn't you? If you felt that they weren't, you know, suitable for humans.
Emily has got on her bed, she's got a scrappy sort of log cabin. It's a little bit like this, a little bit log cabin-y.
Yeah.
And she loves it, and she just loves looking at it because she might find an elephant in there.
Yes.
Or, you
It's a
know,
bit like
this
a nice
and
spy
that.
quilt, isn't it?
And that's it, you know, she finds all sorts of things, but it's very scrappy, and it's not perfect, but she loves it.
The thing is, you can have so much fun with it. And as I say, the quilt-as-you-go method, if you look on the back of that now, that's got a quilt pattern on it as well. Nice. So it's a really nice...
That's a 2-in-1, isn't it?
Yeah,
done.
and then you'll join it with strips, or you'll just simply make it like placemats, you know, for children. They'd love that, wouldn't they? And you could add in little bits of, like you say, little offcuts of, with creatures in, or like there's a little face in there, like a little nose. You can put that in. So it really is just, and I think it's really good if you are a little bit sort of like, oh gosh, I can't use that, that's got to go, that doesn't go, and all of this. If you've just got a pile of scraps in front of you and you just keep picking them up and sewing them on, it helps get over that sort of like, oh, I don't know whether that goes with that or that goes, because it all goes.
And I think what you'll find, especially for children, they love it because it's got all the colours.
Yes.
And it's exciting to see all the different designs and patterns. And you might have a bit of a dinosaur here or a butterfly there.
Yeah.
And because, you know, we kind of say, oh, boys like dinosaurs and girls like butterflies, but it's not the case. It's not the case. They all love it, in my experience.
My granddaughter loves dinosaurs. But, you know, mats for under your flower pots to protect your surface. You know, things...
Look like crazy paving.
Yeah. It's cushion covers. You're limited by your amount of scraps, really, because you could make a massive quilt top just you know, can you imagine? You'd start off little and you get bigger, 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 bigger. You could have a great big quilt top if you wanted to. You could make lots of small squares, make them into a big one.
Was it Victoria Pete at Sewing Quarters, Jane, you might remember, who always saved some scraps from every show that she did? She was making a quilt.
That's right.
Like a scrappy quilt out of all of her leftover scraps from shows that she'd done.
Yes, I think she used to do hexes, didn't she, and make them into Grandmother's Garden. But you could make squares, and then you could put a plain fabric with them, make them into half square triangles. So you've got a scrappy one side and a plain.
Oh, nice.
Pinwheels. You can do so much with half square triangles. You could make strips of it, put them into strips with another plain strip in between. You don't have to have it all scrappy. You can calm it down a little bit by putting plain strips in between. I joined this. They were very narrow strips, but I could have put wider strips in between to give it you know, make it bigger. This is the other thing. If you can only make small squares, by adding planes, you make your project bigger. So
Yes.
it's not confining. I think this is the beauty of this. It's really like quite freeing,
Yes.
and once you start, your imagination, it's really addictive. It really is addictive.
I kind of feel this, Jane.
Yeah,
I feel this might be the thing.
You get to the point where you're just like, oh, well, I could keep, you know, little bits like this. I can keep that. I can keep that little bit. That would work. You know, I'm not very good at throwing my scraps away as it is, but this sort of method means that
Gives you an excuse.
it gives you an excuse. And like I said, if you were an organised person and you kept them in colours.
Yeah, I don't think that's us, Jane.
No, I like a rainbow anyway. But you could, you know, baby shower gift. It's there. You're not having to buy extra fabrics or anything else, or
you could do a rainbow one. You could have one block in all your different
colours, different
Nice.
colour blocks. So yeah, you've got the potential. Is just amazing. I would say cut your salvages off, but then again, sometimes you have a really pretty salvage, don't you, with all the colour spots, and sometimes they do it with hearts or flowers, or we've got one that had snails on it that was in the different colours.
Yes.
So you might want to add your salvage in as well. So you can literally use all of your fabric.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's absolutely perfect.
It is. It just goes on and on.
This is the sort of thing I love to do, and I just find, like you say, I find it really mindful, and I feel like I've made something from nothing.
And I know sometimes you get a little bit of, we lost our sojo, you know, which is sort of like a little bit, I think sometimes you have so many ideas that you can't think of anything. And you could have one of these, you could do a layer up one with a bit of wadding on, and just every so often just add a few bits to it.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it all in one go.
Yeah.
You could just make bits at a time.
You could add beads to it, all sorts of different gems
You
and
know,
bits and
you
bobs.
could just, you know, there's a plain square there that you could do an embroidered daisy or a little flower, or, you know, add on something else to it. You know, you get lots of little, and I don't know about you, but I like haberdashery. I like lace and buttons and things like that. So quite often I've just got one or two of something. But you could just add that in, couldn't you, just to make it look pretty.
We've got a couple of packets of the Tilda buttons left. If you're doing this out of Tilda's scraps, then you could add some little Tilda buttons to it as well.
Really nice.
Ooh, that'd be nice.
You're just sort of limited,
can't stop
really, by
stroking it, can you?
because it's very tactile, particularly when you do it quilt-as-you-go. But because there's a bit of brushed cotton in there as well, so yeah, you'll have fun with this. You really will. You'll get quite addicted.
Okay, so let's go through the deals then, Jane,
Yeah.
before we go. If you buy one of our normal 500 gram scrap bags, we will give you Jane's pattern. It is available separately, but if you would like Jane's Crumb Quilting pattern, then that is coming with our scrap bags. We have got Tilda scraps, 175 gram Tilda scraps. We also have Tilda long eighths.
5 inches.
Fat long eighths.
5 inch wide width of fabric.
Liberty long eighths as
Yeah.
well, which are perfect for this.
Yeah.
And you can fussy cut a bit then as well. We have also got long quarter bundles of the Karen and Gavins. We've got bolt ends.
Bolt ends are just fabulous.
Well, you can, if you're doing it quilt-as-you-go, you can chop up your bolt ends and put them on the back, can't you?
Absolutely.
Nice.
The beauty with the quilt-as-you-go as well, if you haven't got like a huge piece, but you've got lots of smaller pieces,
Yes.
the back will look like a patchwork as well.
Oh,
So,
gorgeous.
you know, you've never not got enough fabric.
Yeah.
It's lovely.
Ideal. Absolutely ideal. Jane, thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you so
It's a bit of a
much.
whizzy show this morning.
Well, we had an awful
I was going to
lot
say,
of other things to show.
yes,
The
But
fleece, when that's gone, that's gone.
because it's so sort of like there's no uniform to it. There's no
No.
pattern to it really. you're dictated by what you start with, really.
Gemma has now loaded all of the bolt ends that we've thrown at her this morning.
Bless her.
Bless
She's only
her.
just come back off holiday and
I
we're like,
know.
yay, have all of this.
Have it all! Have it all! So yeah, do take a good look. Find what you need. There's lots and lots of bargains. Actually, should I go and grab some of the A4
Yes, let's have a look at those.
A4 thingies? Think of all the little cork makes that we've made, because you can make them out of these PU bundled.
Oh yeah, there's lots of things, isn't there? We've had little purses and stuff like that. A little piece like that is really not usable because, as I say, by the time you've done a seam on there, you'd probably just have a little tiny. You probably wouldn't see it. So that piece really isn't usable. But yeah, you'll have so much fun with this technique. But a little triangle like this, that fills in a little gap. And a triangle that size, normally you probably wouldn't think about keeping it. But it really is useful for this sort of project. Little pieces like this. They all go in. It's lovely. Ooh, look at all those.
Well, these were just the first 2 boxes that I grabbed there. I'm sure there are
There's more out there.
probably more on the website. These were 3 random PU A4 pieces. Now these we've got, so we had a few sort of snowflakey ones, perfect for your Christmas.
Yeah,
Make Christmas wallets.
absolutely.
In fact, we've got 2 other ones. The rest. So if you are going for the 3 random PU sheets, these are on a 3 for 2. Then just be aware that I've only got 2 that aren't Christmassy type.
But they're not obviously Christmassy, are they? You don't look at those and think, oh, that's Christmas.
But you could make your bear wallets
yes.
out of Christmas PU and
they'd
things
be
like
really
that.
cute.
Wouldn't they?
Yeah, for
Really lovely.
particularly if you're doing things for like PTA groups and stuff like that.
So that I just think they would be gorgeous. I think they'd be really, really lovely. And these you can back with our heat and bond and a fabric if you want.
Lovely.
But actually with these, they've got a bit of a texture to the back
They've
of them.
got nice. Yeah.
You don't necessarily have to.
No.
So if you are making for charity, that makes it even easier. Now, these were the crossbody bag kits.
Yes.
And so you've got 2 pieces of PU, A4 size, and then a fat quarter.
Nice.
And then we've got other ones that have got random glittery ones.
Oh, they're a bit sort of like a lucky dip. You get what you're given.
No, these ones you choose. So that's
right.
got a glittery PU and like a textured one,
Nice.
and then that's got that mustard Macawa fabric.
Yes.
And then this one is like almost like a glittery snake skin, and then you've got a textured pink which is
nice.
in there.
Is that the Marie Horner fabric?
Yeah, and then so you can
Yeah.
you can back that in a plain if you want and just stuff that in your stash.
Yeah.
A Caroline Gavin one, because you've got all of these colours
Rainbow
in
colours.
these, and that's I could just turn it over, couldn't I? That's how they've been done. So these have got 2 A4 pieces of PU. Look at the blue, you see, that goes so beautifully. And then you've got, you've got the mustardy colour there, because the mustard goes so beautifully with the blue. This one has got a textured, which is the same sort of tone as that. So again,
Nice.
I think I was going to open this one to show you the other one, because they've both been put in the same way. But you can see that's the texture of the back of the other one.
Yeah, it's almost like suede.
See, that looks like a very expensive
Oh yes.
brand of leather. So that's in there.
It's
And
got
theyese are the 3 for 2.
It's got the initials on it.
Yes. So, so again, here you're getting 2. I'm not sure if they're 2 the same colour on these ones. These were the slightly suede-y effect ones.
Yes. A nice texture to them.
Oh no, you've got 2 contrasty ones. But
Very
again,
nice.
the back on here is suede-y. So if you did want to cut them out and do
Yeah.
your cork makes, you can also make with these, and then you'd have that beautiful star fabric.
It's the twinkle, isn't it?
Yeah.
And lovely.
This one's got a Liberty fabric with it, but it's got the pinks. It's just fun. So yeah, I mean, look, we've got all kinds in here. Gosh, we've even got one of those left, Jane.
Oh wow, that's sparkly.
I know.
There's a bit of sparkle.
And that,
Yes, the wave
the
fabric.
Nami fabric.
Yeah.
So that's got one textured, one sparkly, and the Nami. We've got all kinds in there, Jane. But they are on a 3 for 2. And more of the, I'm going to call them the more grown-up ones.
Well, you could, you know, we shouldn't gender, should we? But you could make masculine makes with those ones. Or for people that don't like florally fabrics.
And these are absolutely perfect. So
Yeah.
anything that you can make with cork, you can make with these.
Absolutely.
Handbags,
Beautiful.
all the different makes, all the different cork makes. Perfect.
Purses, yeah.
Have a rummage because they are there for you. And like I say, at the moment, 3 for 2. Bargains galore, Jane.
Fabulous.
Galore.
Fabulous.
So there we go. That's today's show. Thank you so much for everybody for watching. Tomorrow, I think there's going to be trying to work out what to do tomorrow.
Yes.
Because I've been a little bit time poor, having had visitors and stuff at the weekend and packing and everything else.
Yes.
So definitely samples tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see if I can muster something.
I'm sure you'll
In the
come up with
meantime.
something. Something will.
No pressure. The trouble is, my mind's already on that velvet for next week.
Yes. This is what happens to us though, isn't it?
Mm. And I can't skip tomorrow's show and just go straight to velvet.
No. I'm just
can't.
looking at this and thinking I could actually sew that piece onto there.
Yes, you could. Hang on. Let me just spin that around for a
There you
yes.
go, look.
Oh, yes.
Just stick it on.
And the thing is that when you trim this back, you're then going to have
That piece. that I
interesting
can-
pieces.
Yeah, that you
So
can
then,
sew in.
oh, nice.
You just get to the point where you're like, I'm not going to throw anything away ever.
That is massively satisfying,
Isn't it?
2 hair kits left, unless they've already gone today. Yeah. Have a goodly rummage.
Yes.
Yes.
It's
There
worth
are
having a rummage.
goodies galore.
Yeah.
And if you want another of the kilo, or if maybe it's your first time with the kilo cork ends,
Yes.
they come from our Portuguese cork supplier, so they are the top notch.
They're really nice quality. I mean, our
Super,
cork that we've been
super
using
duper.
before is fabulous, but this is amazing. Just when you think it can't get any better.
And if you've already bought one before, just write a little note and we'll put a different template in.
Yes.
So actually you're getting rather a good bargain because those templates are generally about $16.99 each.
Yes.
And the cork on its own should be 30 quid. So just saying.
Absolute bargain.
Thank you ever so much for watching. We will see you here tomorrow.
Yes.
Take care. Lots of love.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.